My beloved child, pause for a moment. Breathe. What you are about to hear is not random, not delayed, and not meant for everyone. This message found you because heaven itself has been watching you in silence, counting the nights you cried without words, and the moments you stayed strong when you wanted to give up. Tonight is not ordinary. Tonight is marked. Listen carefully. God says your miracle is being released tonight. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Tonight. And as this word is being spoken, Archangel Michael is standing in your atmosphere, and he is not silent. He is moved. He is weeping for you, not from sorrow, but from holy urgency. Because what you endured without applause has reached the courts of heaven. You thought heaven was quiet. You thought nothing was happening. But while you were waiting, angels were being assigned. While you were doubting, permissions were being signed. While you were asking, why is this taking so long? God was saying, because what I am about to do must happen all at once. My dear one, hear this clearly. The delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. It was strategy. There is a reason the whole of heaven is shouting your name. Not whispering. Not suggesting. Shouting. Because your name hath been spoken in places you have never entered, and decisions have been made in realms you cannot see. Archangel Michael hath been standing guard over a door that was sealed until this exact moment. And tonight, that seal is being broken. This is not hype. This is alignment. You have been misunderstood, misjudged, and overlooked. People saw your strength but never your wounds. They benefited from your presence but never protected your heart. And God says, I saw everything, every unfair moment, every prayer you prayed through tears, every time you smiled while breaking inside. None of it was wasted. Tonight, the miracle is not just being prepared. It is being released. Something is shifting in your favor as you listen. There is a sudden movement in the spiritual realm, like a dam cracking open after holding pressure for too long. What was up is unsticking. What was blocked is clearing. What felt impossible is losing its power over you. Archangel Michael is not weeping because you are weak. He is weeping because you stayed faithful when it would have been easier to walk away. Heaven honors endurance. Heaven responds to obedience. Heaven moves when a chosen one refuses to quit. And hear this. This miracle is not small. You assumed it would be partial, limited, or quiet. But God says it will be undeniable. The kind of miracle that forces people to ask questions. The kind of breakthrough that cannot be explained away by logic. The kind that makes even your doubters go silent. There are conversations happening right now that include your name. Doors opening that you did not knock on. Help rising from places you stopped expecting it from. This is why heaven is shouting your name, because your season has changed, and the spiritual atmosphere must announce it. My beloved child, you are not late. You are right on time. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign to stop. It is proof that you are at the edge. When labor pains intensify, birth is near. God says you are closer than you think. One more push. One more moment of trust. One more step of faith. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior, but tonight he stands as a witness. A witness to your loyalty. A witness to your perseverance. A witness to the promise God made over your life long before you understood it. And he says, heaven has not forgotten you. Some of you are about to receive clarity. Others are about to receive provision. Some will receive restoration, and some will receive answers you thought you would never get. But make no mistake, this miracle is tailored. Heaven does not mass-produce breakthroughs. This one has your name on it. That's why the whole of heaven is shouting your name. Because when God moves for you, it sends a signal to the spiritual realm. This one is covered. This one is chosen. This one is next. And tonight, as this word settles into your spirit, something unseen but powerful is activating. The weight you've been carrying is about to lift. The fear that has followed you is about to lose its grip. The cycle that tried to trap you is about to break. Do not dismiss this moment. Do not talk yourself out of faith. Do not let logic steal what revelation is releasing. Stay open. Stay receptive. Stay expectant. Because what God is doing tonight does not need your full understanding, only your agreement. And as Archangel Michael stands beside you, heaven watches closely. This is the moment before the shift, the breath before the breakthrough, the silence before the shout. Something is about to happen, and you were meant to be here for this. My precious one, listen with a focused heart now, because what I am about to reveal explains why the pressure increased right before this moment. There is a spiritual law you were never taught. Resistance intensifies right before release. The closer you get to what God promised, the louder the opposition becomes. That heaviness you felt recently was not random fatigue. It was evidence that something powerful was approaching your life, something that threatened the darkness that had grown comfortable around you. Archangel Michael has been watching the battle you could not see. While you thought you were fighting thoughts, discouragement, and confusion, there was a larger war unfolding around your destiny. And heaven did not panic. Heaven prepared. God never sends a promise without assigning protection to it. That is why you are still standing, even after moments that should have broken you. You wondered why people started acting strange, why certain connections faded without explanation, why plans suddenly collapsed at the last minute. God says it was not rejection, it was redirection. Some things had to move out of your way because they could not follow you into what is coming next. Archangel Michael did not allow delays to destroy you. He allowed them to reposition you. Hear this clearly. What you are stepping into requires a different level of authority. And authority is not given cheaply. It is forged through endurance. Every tear you held back, every prayer you whispered when words felt heavy, every time you chose faith over bitterness, it all counted. Heaven records obedience, not noise. Right now, there is a divine sorting happening. God is separating what can go with you from what must stay behind. That is why you feel a strange mix of anticipation and discomfort. You are shedding an old season, old limitations, old labels, old fears. And even though change feels unfamiliar, it is necessary for the miracle to manifest fully. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over transitions. He protects thresholds, and you are standing at one right now. This is not just a blessing moment, this is a crossing. Once you step through, you will not see things the same way again. Your tolerance for confusion will decrease. Your discernment will sharpen. Your confidence in God's voice will increase. Some of you have been asking God for a sign. God says this message is part of it, but it is not the final confirmation. The confirmation will come through action, through movement, through something shifting suddenly in your physical reality. It may arrive as a message, an opportunity, an apology, or an unexpected provision. Do not limit how God chooses to answer. You are not being asked to force anything. You are being asked to stay aligned. Alignment is more powerful than effort. When you are aligned, heaven does the heavy lifting. That is why God has been telling you to rest your heart, even while your situation felt unresolved. Rest is not quitting. Rest is trusting the process you cannot control. Now listen closely, because this matters. What is being released is not only for you. It will impact others connected to you. Your obedience has a ripple effect. Your breakthrough becomes someone else's proof. Your testimony becomes someone else's hope. Heaven is strategic like that. God never blesses in isolation. This is why it is important that you engage with this message. If this word is resonating with your spirit, let it be known. When you like this message, when you share it, when you leave a comment, you are not just supporting a channel, you are declaring agreement. You are saying, I receive what God is speaking, and agreement activates movement. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now so you stay connected to what heaven is releasing through this space. There are people who will need this word because you chose to pass it on. There is a momentum building, and you are part of it. Heaven responds to unity. Heaven responds when faith is expressed, not hidden. This is a moment to lean in, not pull back. Archangel Michael is still present, holding the line until the full release manifests. Use that step away. He is ensuring that what God decreed reaches you without interference. That is why fear has been trying so hard to distract you. Fear always shows up when it knows it is about to lose ground. Do not let old disappointments speak louder than present truth. Those chapters are closed. God is not revisiting them. He is writing forward. And this next part of your story will make sense of the pain that came before it. There is something else you need to know. The miracle may arrive differently than you imagined, but it will accomplish exactly what you need. God is not interested in impressing you. He is interested in transforming you. When it comes, you will feel peace before excitement, assurance before celebration. That is how you will know it is from Him. This is where the deeper understanding begins, and you will not want to miss how this unfolds. My beloved child, there is something sacred unfolding right now, and it requires your full attention. This is not just another encouraging word. This is a divine unveiling. God says the reason your miracle is being released tonight is because you passed a test you did not even know you were taking. While you thought you were simply surviving, Heaven was observing your heart, your reactions, your choices when no one was watching, and you were found faithful. Archangel Michael is still near, and his tears have meaning. Angels do not weep without cause. He weeps because he has seen how close you came to giving up, and yet you chose to trust God again. He saw the nights you questioned your worth, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, and the moments you prayed even when your faith felt fragile. Heaven calls that courage. There was a point where the enemy assumed you would stop believing, that you would grow cold, that disappointment would harden your heart. But you surprised the darkness. You kept your spirit open. You did not let bitterness replace belief, and that decision triggered a response in heaven. God says, now I can move. Understand this. Miracles are not only released because of need, they are released because of readiness. You are ready now. Ready to steward what you once begged for. Ready to carry the blessing without it crushing you. Ready to receive without losing your humility. That is why the timing shifted suddenly. Some of you felt an emotional breaking recently, like something inside you finally gave way. That was not weakness. That was surrender. And surrender unlocks doors that striving never could. When you stopped trying to control the outcome, God stepped in to command it. Archangel Michael has been guarding your mind through this process. There were attacks meant to distort your thinking, to convince you that God had forgotten you. Those thoughts did not come from truth. They came from fear. And fear is losing its authority over you now. There is a fresh clarity being poured into your spirit. Confusion is lifting. You may not have every answer yet, but you have peace, and peace is the confirmation. When God is involved, peace precedes proof. That is why heaven is not rushing you. It is grounding you. What is coming will require you to walk differently, speak differently, discern differently. This miracle will change how you see yourself. You will no longer beg for what God already approved. You will no longer chase validation from places that cannot honor who you are becoming. God says the miracle being released tonight carries restoration in it. Restoration of confidence. Restoration of hope. Restoration of what was stolen quietly over time. Even things you stopped praying for because you thought they were gone forever. God says they are not beyond reach. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that battles are won before they are seen. The victory you are about to experience has already been declared. What you see next is simply the manifestation catching up to the decision heaven already made. Do not minimize this season. Do not rush through it. Let it mark you. Let it recalibrate you. You are stepping into a testimony that will speak for itself. You will not need to defend it. God will confirm it. And now, as this word seals in your spirit, receive this activation with faith. Type "I receive the miracle" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 888 has just been released. This word did not come to you by accident. I feel led to speak directly to those whose spirits are burning right now. When you support this mission, you are not supporting a video. You are helping light reach souls who are praying in silence. God says when you sow into this ground, you place seed into fertile soil, and He's the one who multiplies it. I hear the Lord say, I will open the heavens over those who respond in obedience. If you feel stirred, act on it now. Release your seed through Super Thanks. Join the membership, or use the PayPal donation link in the description. As you give, I declare that God breathes on your offering and returns it pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Do not delay what heaven is prompting. Move and watch how God moves for you. My dear one, now that the seal has been broken, you must understand what happens after heaven decides to move. There is always a moment where faith is tested one last time, not to stop you, but to prepare you. God says this is that moment. The miracle has been authorized, but your spirit is being strengthened so you can receive it without fear, doubt, or confusion. Archangel Michael remains positioned near you, not because the battle is ongoing, but because the transition is delicate. When something new is born, it must be protected. That is why you may feel unusually sensitive right now. Emotions rising, thoughts surfeiting, memories returning. This is not regression. This is release. Old layers are peeling away because they cannot go where God is taking you. You are not imagining the shift. Your discernment is increasing. You are noticing things you once ignored, patterns you once excused, voices you once trusted without question. God is refining your perception. A miracle coming into your life requires wisdom, not just gratitude. And wisdom grows when your eyes open. There is something important you must hear. Not everyone will celebrate what God is doing for you. Some will be confused. Some will grow distant. Some will question the change in you. Do not let that unsettle your spirit. When God elevates someone quietly, it exposes insecurities in others unintentionally. This is not your burden to carry. Archangel Michael has already gone ahead of you, clearing resistance you cannot see. He is not fighting for permission anymore. He is enforcing what has been granted. That is why certain obstacles will suddenly move without explanation. Situations will resolve faster than expected. Conversations will shift in tone. God is rearranging things quickly now. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are no longer begging. You are declaring. You are no longer asking from fear. You are trusting from assurance. That is growth. That is maturity. Heaven responds differently when a child begins to pray with alignment instead of anxiety. God says you are entering a season where obedience will matter more than emotion. You will not always feel excited, but you will feel guided. You will not always understand the timing, but you will recognize the peace. Learn to follow peace. It is one of God's clearest signals. This miracle is not meant to make you dependent on circumstances. It is meant to anchor you in truth. When it arrives, you will realize it did not just change your situation, it changed you. Your tolerance for chaos will decrease. Your attraction to clarity will increase. You will choose stability over drama, purpose over popularity, and depth over noise. Archangel Michael is also assigned to guard your words in this season. Be mindful of what you speak over yourself. Life and death still respond to language. Do not curse what God is blessing just because it has not fully manifested yet. Speak as if it is already in motion, because it is. There will be moments where the old fear tries to return, whispering, "What if this falls apart?" That voice is not prophetic, it is familiar. Familiarity does not mean truth. Do not agree with what contradicts what God has already confirmed. Agreement is powerful, and heaven honors it. You are stepping into a rhythm where things will begin to align naturally. Not forced, not manipulated, not chased. What belongs to you will recognize you. What is meant for you will find you. This is the reward of patience mixed with faith. God wants you to know that rest is part of this process. Do not exhaust yourself trying to maintain what God is sustaining. Let Him carry the weight. Let Him prove His faithfulness. Your role is not to control the outcome, but to remain open and obedient. Archangel Michael's presence is a reminder that you are not alone in this transition. You are surrounded, supported, and shielded. Even when you feel quiet inside, heaven is active around you. Even when nothing seems to be happening, things are aligning behind the scenes. This next phase will teach you to trust consistency over intensity. God is not interested in emotional highs followed by crashes. He is establishing you, rooting you, strengthening your foundation so what He builds on it lasts. Pay attention in the coming days. Small confirmations will appear. A word here, a sign there, a sense of knowing without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are reassurances. God is gentle like that. And remember this above all else. You did not miss your moment. You did not delay your destiny. You did not fail the assignment. You are exactly where you need to be for what is about to unfold. Because the story is still unfolding, and what comes next will deepen your understanding in ways you did not anticipate. My beloved one, now you are entering a phase where silence becomes sacred. God says not everything He is doing needs to be announced, explained, or defended. Some of the most powerful transformations happen quietly, away from opinions and interference. This is why you may feel drawn inward lately, choosing reflection over reaction. Heaven is teaching you discernment, not isolation. Archangel Michael is still assigned to you, and his role now is not confrontation, but covering. When God prepares a miracle, He also prepares a shield around it. That shield is peace. If something disrupts your peace in this season, pay attention. Peace is the boundary God uses to protect what is growing. You are learning how to respond instead of react. That is not accidental. Reacting belongs to the old version of you, the one who felt the need to explain themselves or prove their worth. Responding belongs to the new version, the one who knows God is handling what they cannot. A shift in posture is part of the miracle itself. There are things you once tolerated that you will no longer entertain. Conversations that drain you will lose their appeal. Environments that confuse you will feel uncomfortable. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. When God raises your level, He changes your appetite. Some doors are closing gently, without conflict or drama. Do not try to force them open again. If God allowed them to close quietly, honor the peace and keep moving. Not every ending needs a confrontation. Some endings are confirmations. Archangel Michael stands watch as your spiritual senses sharpen. You will begin to sense when something is not for you before it harms you. A discernment is a gift. Trust it. You do not need external validation when inner clarity is present. God is also teaching you patience in manifestation. Just because something hath been released does not mean it appears instantly in its fullness. Seeds break open underground before anything shows above the surface. Do not dig up what heaven is growing just to check if it is working. You may notice that your prayers are shorter but deeper. You are not repeating yourself as much. You are trusting more. That is growth. God hears the prayers you can no longer put into words. Silence with faith is still communication. There will be moments when you feel tempted to look back at what you left behind, especially when the new feels unfamiliar. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. The past may feel known, but it is no longer a line. God is calling you forward, not backward. Archangel Michael's presence ensures that what is meant to reach you will not be intercepted. You do not need to compete, rush, or compare. What is yours has your name on it. Timing will not steal it. People will not block it. Circumstances will not cancel it. God says the season will teach you how to live without constant reassurance. You will learn to trust His voice within you. That confidence will quiet many fears that once had power over your decisions. There is also healing happening beneath the surface. Emotional patterns are being rewritten. Old triggers are losing their grip. You are responding differently to things that once destabilized you. This is not coincidence. This is restoration in motion. You are being prepared to steward peace, not just experience it. Peace will become your standard, not your exception. When chaos tries to re-enter, you will recognize it immediately and choose differently. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that protection does not always look dramatic. Sometimes protection looks like redirection. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like losing interest in what once consumed you. God wants you to know that you are safe in this process. Safe to let go. Safe to trust. Safe to move forward without all the answers. He is not asking you to leap blindly. He is asking you to walk steadily. In the coming days, do not rush decisions. Let clarity come naturally. When something is from God, it carries peace even when it stretches you. When something is not, it carries pressure and confusion. This miracle will not demand your anxiety. It will invite your faith. Remain attentive. Remain grounded. Remain open. Because the next layer of this revelation will bring understanding about what you are stepping into and why heaven chose this exact moment. And when it unfolds, you will realize this was not just about receiving something new. It was about becoming someone new. My precious child, now the atmosphere around you is changing in a way that feels subtle but firm. God says this is the stage where alignment becomes visible. Things that once felt complicated are beginning to simplify. Decisions that once felt heavy are becoming clear. This is not because life suddenly became easier, but because your spirit is stronger and more anchored than before. Archangel Michael remains close, not as a distant guardian, but as an active presence ensuring that what is unfolding is not interrupted. You may sense a growing confidence within you, even if your circumstances have not fully caught up yet. That confidence is not pride, it is assurance. It is the quiet knowing that God is doing exactly what He promised. There is a reason you have felt less reactive lately. Situations that once would have shaken you now feel manageable. Words that once pierced you now pass without lodging in your heart. This is evidence that a healing has taken root. God is not just changing outcomes, He is changing your inner responses. Some of you have been wondering why certain prayers have not been answered in the way you expected. God says it is because He is answering them in a way that protects you long term. What you asked for before would have met a need, but what He is releasing now will sustain you. There is a difference between relief and provision, and God has chosen provision. Archangel Michael has been clearing confusion from your path. You may notice that distractions are losing their appeal. Things that once consumed your time no longer hold the same power. This is intentional. Focus is being restored because focus is required for what is next. God says, do not rush this stage. This is where strength is built quietly. This is where trust becomes natural instead of forced. If you try to hurry the process, you may miss the depth of what God is establishing within you. There may be moments where impatience tries to creep in, whispering that nothing is happening. Do not agree with that voice. Movement does not always announce itself. Some of the most important shifts happen internally before they ever show externally. You are learning how to walk by faith without constantly checking for signs. That maturity is rare. Heaven recognizes it. This is why greater responsibility is being entrusted to you. God does not place weight on those who are not ready to carry it. Archangel Michael's role in this season is also to protect your momentum. Momentum is fragile if not guarded. That is why you must be mindful of what you allow into your mind and spirit. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your energy. And now listen carefully, because this moment also requires participation. When you engage with what God is doing here, you strengthen the flow. If this message is speaking to you, let it be known. Like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave a comment as a declaration of faith. When you subscribe and stay connected, you are choosing to remain in an environment where your spirit is fed and strengthened. This is not about numbers. It is about agreement. Agreement amplifies impact. And when people come together under a shared word, heaven responds. There is a collective movement happening, and you are part of it. Someone will hear this message because you chose to pass it on. Someone's faith will be restored because you chose to engage. Never underestimate how God uses simple obedience. Archangel Michael stands firm as the final resistance begins to weaken. What once felt immovable is starting to shift. You may notice small changes first. The conversation goes differently. A door opens slightly. A burden feels lighter. These are signs that the release is progressing. God says your role now is consistency. Stay steady. Stay faithful. Stay open. Do not swing between hope and doubt. Choose trust daily, even when emotions fluctuate. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. Here is also a reminder for you in this season. Do not isolate yourself emotionally. While solitude is healthy, withdrawal is not. Stay connected to encouragement. Stay connected to truth. Stay connected to what strengthens you. You are being trained to recognize God's voice without panic, to move without rushing, to believe without needing constant reassurance. This is the kind of faith that sustains miracles long after they arrive. Hold on, because what unfolds next will clarify the purpose behind everything you have endured. The pieces will begin to fit together in a way that will surprise you. This is where understanding deepens, and you will be grateful you stayed present for it. Remain attentive. Remain aligned. Remain expectant. Because the next movement will not only confirm what God has spoken, it will reveal why it had to happen this way. My beloved child, now we enter a sacred stretch where God begins to reveal the why behind the waiting. This is the phase where understanding quietly replaces frustration. You may notice that memories from your past are surfacing, not to wound you, but to show you how far you have come. God is allowing reflection, not regret. Reflection brings wisdom. Regret brings chains, and you are no longer bound. Archangel Michael is present as a stabilizer in this season. When revelation increases, balance is required. Too much information without grounding can overwhelm the spirit. That is why God is revealing truth to you in layers, line upon line, so your heart can receive it without fear. There is a deeper work happening now. God is restoring your sense of identity. For a long time, you were defined by survival, by what you endured, by what you lost. But survival was only a chapter, not your name. Heaven never called you broken. Heaven called you chosen. And chosen ones often walk through fire before they walk in authority. You are beginning to see patterns clearly. Why certain relationships never lasted. Why certain doors never opened. Why certain prayers were delayed. God says it was not punishment. It was protection. If those doors had opened earlier, you would have been exposed before you were equipped. Timing saved you. Archangel Michael has been guarding your spiritual growth like a flame protected from the wind. There were seasons when one wrong influence could have extinguished your faith completely. But God preserved you. Even when you did not feel strong, you were covered. This is also the stage where forgiveness becomes lighter. Not because people suddenly deserve it, but because you no longer want to carry what they dropped. Forgiveness in this season is not an emotion. It is a decision to stay free. You are releasing weight so you can run. God is teaching you the difference between being patient and being passive. You are patient with timing, but active in obedience. You are no longer waiting for permission to become who God called you to be. You are stepping into it gradually, confidently, and without apology. You may feel a growing boldness, not loud, not aggressive, but steady. You are less afraid of being misunderstood, less concerned with explaining yourself. That is because clarity has replaced confusion. When you know who you are, you do not need to convince anyone else. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this internal shift. He sees how your prayers have changed. You are no longer asking God to prove himself. You are trusting him to lead you. That shift moves heaven. Faith that rests is powerful. God says this is also a season of divine recalibration. Your desires are aligning with his will. What once attracted you may no longer interest you. What once seemed boring may now feel meaningful. This is not loss. This is focus. There may be moments when the old voice of fear tries to remind you of past failures. Do not entertain it. That voice has no authority here. God is not rebuilding your past. He is establishing your future. And the future requires forward vision, not backward glances. You are being trained to recognize when God is speaking through peace instead of pressure. Pressure wishes. Peace confirms. Learn to move with peace, even when the step feels unfamiliar. If peace is present, God is involved. Archangel Michael's assignment now includes guarding your confidence. Confidence rooted in God is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are learning to trust what God placed within you. That trust will guide your decisions more accurately than fear ever could. This phase may feel quieter than the previous ones, but it is not empty. Quiet seasons are often the most productive spiritually. Roots grow in silence. Strength builds unseen. When the fruit appears, it surprises everyone, including you. God wants you to know that you are no longer being prepared for the miracle. You are being prepared for stewardship. What you receive must be maintained. What you hold must be honored. And God trusts you with that responsibility now. You may soon notice that others begin to seek your perspective, your prayers, your presence. Not because you are perfect, but because you carry peace. Peace is attractive in a chaotic world, and God will use that peace through you. Do not rush what is unfolding. Let it mature. Let it settle. Let it root itself deeply in your spirit. Because what comes next will not just bless you, it will position you. And you will understand why heaven waited until now. My beloved child, this is a pivotal moment in the unfolding of your story. God says this is the phase where positioning becomes undeniable. You are no longer being hidden, yet you are not being exposed prematurely. You are being placed carefully, intentionally, by divine hands. What once felt like obscurity was actually protection, and now that protection is transitioning into preparation for visibility. Archangel Michael is standing in a posture of confirmation. His assignment in your life is shifting again. He is no longer only guarding what is being formed, he is now affirming what has been approved. There is a difference. Guarding is defensive. Affirming is authoritative. Heaven is saying, this one is ready. You may feel an internal nudge to step forward in ways you never considered before. Speak when you would have stayed silent. Choose differently where you once followed the familiar. Trust your discernment instead of doubting it. This is not recklessness. This is confidence birthed from refinement. God says the reason you can move with peace now is because your foundation has been tested. Storms already came. Pressure already tried you. Disappointment already spoke. And yet, you are still standing with faith intact. That foundation will not crack under blessing. There is also a holy separation happening. Not dramatic, not painful, just clear. Certain people, habits, and environments will naturally fall away because they no longer resonate with who you are becoming. Do not mourn what God is removing. Release it with gratitude. And serve the purpose, that purpose has ended. Archangel Michael remains alert because elevation always attracts attention. Not all attention is harmful, but not all of it is safe either. This is why God is sharpening your discernment even more. You will sense when to engage and when to withdraw, when to speak and when to remain quiet. Wisdom will guide you. God says this season will surprise you with how smoothly things begin to flow. After so much resistance, ease may feel unfamiliar. Do not distrust it. Ease does not mean absence of purpose. It means alignment has been achieved. When heaven and earth agree, movement becomes fluid. There will be moments when you look back and realize how perfectly God orchestrated events you once thought were setbacks. Delays protected you. Denials redirected you. Losses refined you. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. You are also entering a time where gratitude will deepen your blessing. Gratitude anchors miracles. When you recognize what God has already done, It prepares your heart to steward what is coming next. Gratitude keeps you grounded when favor increases. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that victory does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives as stability, as clarity, as peace that does not depend on circumstances. That is the kind of victory heaven celebrates. God wants you to know that your obedience mattered more than you realize. Small decisions, quiet faithfulness, choosing integrity when compromise would have been easier. These were seeds, and now the harvest is near. You may feel a sense of holy anticipation building. Not anxiety, not fear, just a calm expectation that something meaningful is unfolding. Trust that feeling. It is alignment, not imagination. And now, as this part seals, receive this activation with faith and agreement. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if this message is confirming what God hath been speaking to you. Blessing code 1444 has just been released. This message is not stopping with you. God is using this channel as a river, and rivers are meant to flow outward, not inward. When you choose to support this mission, you are placing seed into soil that carries light to people who are still in the dark, praying for a word like this. I hear the Lord say, "Those who water will themselves be watered." This is not about obligation, it is about obedience. If your spirit feels stirred, act now through super thanks, by joining the membership, or through the PayPal donation link in the description. As you give, I declare that God opens doors you did not knock on and releases provision you did not expect. Move with faith and watch heaven respond. My precious child, now you are standing in a space where anticipation meets responsibility. God says this is the season where awareness sharpens. You are not guessing anymore. You are sensing. You are not hoping blindly. You are recognizing patterns of confirmation. This is what happens when faith matures. It learns how to listen between the lines. Archangel Michael remains near, not to introduce conflict, but to ensure clarity. Clarity is protection. Confusion creates openings for fear, but clarity closes doors to unnecessary struggle. That is why you are beginning to see things exactly as they are, not as you once wished they would be. You may feel a heightened sensitivity to your environment lately. Certain atmospheres drain you faster. Certain conversations feel heavier. This is not weakness. It is discernment increasing. God is teaching you how to guard what He is growing. Not every space deserves your energy. Not every invitation deserves your yes. This season is teaching you restraint. Restraint is not lack. It is mastery. You are learning that you do not have to respond to everything. Silence can be powerful. Waiting can be strategic. God often does His best work while you are not reacting impulsively. Archangel Michael has been ensuring that distractions lose their grip on you. What once stole your focus no longer carries the same pull. This is intentional. Focus is required for stewardship, and what God is entrusting to you cannot be handled with divided attention. There is also a deeper confidence settling into your spirit. You are no longer afraid of making the wrong move, as much as you once were. Not because you are careless, but because you trust God's ability to redirect you if needed. That trust frees you from paralysis. God says this is the season where your internal world becomes more stable than your external circumstances. Even if everything around you is not fully aligned yet, something within you has. That internal alignment will guide every external decision. You may notice that you are less emotionally reactive. Triggers that once controlled your mood are losing influence. This is healing taking root. God is restoring emotional balance, not by removing challenges, but by strengthening your capacity to respond with wisdom. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that spiritual authority grows quietly. You do not need to announce who you are becoming. The fruit will speak. When people notice the change, it will be because peace surrounds you, not because you demanded recognition. This is also a season of refinement in your communication. God is teaching you when to speak and when to listen. Words carry weight now. Your voice carries influence, and influence must be stewarded carefully. You are learning that not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Timing matters. Delivery matters. Wisdom chooses the right moment, not just the right message. God wants you to know that this stage is crucial for what comes next. Rushing now would cost depth later. So allow the process to continue unfolding naturally. Trust the pace God has set. He sees the whole picture. Archangel Michael is guarding your peace fiercely in this phase. That is why anything that threatens your peace feels more obvious. Pay attention to that. Peace is not passive, it is protective. You are also beginning to recognize how God has been preparing you to help others. Not by fixing them, but by understanding them. Compassion has grown through your own experiences. That compassion will become a bridge for others later. Do not underestimate the power of what you carry now. You may feel ordinary, but heaven sees maturity. Heaven sees readiness. Heaven sees a heart that can be trusted. There may still be moments of uncertainty. That is normal. Faith does not eliminate questions. It teaches you how to move without all the answers. And God is pleased with that kind of faith. This is not the season to retreat. It is the season to remain present, grounded, and attentive. Everything you need will be revealed at the right time. Because what comes next will not only confirm what God hath been doing internally, it will begin to manifest externally in ways that cannot be ignored. And when it does, you will understand why this preparation mattered so much. My beloved child, now we arrive at a moment where movement begins to feel real. God says this is the stage where internal preparation starts touching external reality. You may notice subtle but undeniable changes around you. Doors that once felt sealed are slightly open. Conversations are shifting tone. Opportunities are appearing without force. This is not coincidence. This is alignment becoming visible. Archangel Michael is standing firmly at your side in this hour, not in battle stance, but in authority. Authority means the decision has already been made. What is happening now is enforcement. Heaven has ruled in your favor, and what was held back is being released in an orderly, intentional way. You may feel a strange mix of excitement and calm. Not the anxious excitement of the past, but a steady assurance. That is because fear no longer leads your expectations. Trust does. God has trained your spirit to recognize His hand without needing chaos to announce it. There is something important God wants you to understand here. A miracle unfolding is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to stabilize you. That is why it may arrive step by step instead of all at once. God is not teasing you. He is teaching you how to walk with what He gives. Archangel Michael hath been ensuring that this transition does not trigger old patterns. You are not stepping into this new phase as the same person you once were. You are wiser now, more discerning, more grounded. The things that once distracted you will not derail you this time. God says you are learning how to recognize divine timing. You are no longer rushing ahead of Him, nor are you lagging behind in fear. You are walking with Him. That rhythm is rare, and heaven values it deeply. You may notice that people respond to you differently now. Some with curiosity, some with respect, some with distance. Do not overanalyze it. When God elevates someone internally, He reflects externally. Your peace speaks louder than explanations ever could. This season also comes with responsibility. Responsibility to protect your focus. Responsibility to choose wisely. Responsibility to remain humble. Humility keeps you teachable, and teachability keeps you aligned. Archangel Michael is guarding against distraction right now. That is why anything unnecessary feels heavier than before. God is helping you prioritize without guilt. Saying no will feel easier. Saying yes will feel clearer. There is also a collective aspect to this moment. You are not walking alone. Others are being stirred by the same truth. That is why it matters that you engage. When you like this message, when you share it, when you leave a comment declaring faith, you are strengthening a shared atmosphere of belief. Faith multiplies when it is expressed. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now. Staying connected keeps you aligned with what God is unfolding here. This is not about routine viewing. It is about remaining in a flow where your spirit is consistently encouraged and strengthened. God is building momentum, and momentum grows through participation. Someone will encounter this word because you chose to share it. Someone's faith will rise because you chose to speak agreement. Never underestimate how God uses simple actions to create lasting impact. Archangel Michael remains alert because the closer manifestation comes, the more important consistency becomes. Do not pull back now. Do not second-guess what God has already confirmed. Consistency is what carries you through the final stretch. There may be moments where impatience whispers, "Why not now?" But God says timing protects quality. What He is releasing must last. And lasting things require proper foundations. You are learning to trust the unfolding without trying to control it. That trust is maturing you. It is also attracting favor. Favor flows toward those who are not frantic. This is also a moment to stay attentive. Small instructions may come. Gentle nudges. Divine confirmations. Do not ignore them. God often speaks softly when He trusts you to listen closely. Hold on, because what happens next will tie everything together in a way that strengthens your faith even more. This is where the picture becomes clearer, and you will be glad you stayed present for this part. Remain grounded. Remain faithful. Remain engaged. Because you are closer now than you have ever been, and what unfolds next will make that undeniable. My precious child, now you are standing at the edge of realization. God says this is the phase where faith turns into quiet certainty. Not loud confidence, not dramatic expectation, but a deep inner knowing that what He promised is unfolding exactly as planned. You are no longer wondering if it will happen. You are sensing that it is happening. Archangel Michael is present with a calm authority in this moment. His assignment now is confirmation and continuity. He is ensuring that nothing interrupts what is already in motion. You are not starting something new. You are stepping fully into what has been prepared over time. You may notice that your prayers have shifted again. They are no longer centered around asking for breakthrough, but around wisdom, guidance, and clarity. That shift reveals readiness. God listens carefully to those prayers because they come from alignment, not desperation. There is a stillness settling around you. Not emptiness, but stability. The kind of stillness that comes when storms have passed and the ground is settled. Even if your circumstances are not perfect yet, your spirit is no longer shaken by every wave. That is growth that cannot be taken from you. Archangel Michael has been guarding you from emotional whiplash. In the past, you would rise and fall quickly based on what happened around you. Now, your emotional ground is steadier. You are not detached. You are anchored. Anchored in trust. anchored in truth. God says this stage is important because it teaches you how to live after the miracle. Many people pray for change but are not prepared for the responsibility that follows it. You are learning how to maintain peace, not just experience it briefly. How to steward clarity, not just receive it once. There may be moments where you feel reflective, thinking about who you used to be. Do not judge that version of yourself harshly. That version carried you to this point. Honor the journey. Gratitude for the past makes room for grace in the future. You are also beginning to understand why certain prayers were delayed. Not intellectually, but spiritually. You can now see that if God had answered them earlier, you would have settled for less than what He intended. Timing protected quality. Waiting protected depth. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your transformation. Not just external change, but internal alignment. You are not chasing validation anymore. You are not seeking approval. You are comfortable letting God define success for you. God says this is also a season of quiet confidence. You do not feel the need to announce your next move. You are content letting results speak. That maturity attracts favor because heaven trusts those who are not driven by ego. There may be opportunities approaching that require discernment. Not every good thing is a God thing for you, and not every open door is meant to be entered immediately. Listen for peace. Peace will always guide you correctly. Archangel Michael continues to guard your focus. That is why distractions feel more obvious now. You are more aware of what drains you and what fuels you. Choose what fuels you. Let go of what drains you without guilt. God wants you to know that this season will also strengthen your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They allow what is aligned to enter and keep what is harmful out. Healthy boundaries protect what God is building. You are learning to value consistency over intensity. Daily faith over emotional spikes. Steady obedience over occasional bursts of effort. This is how lasting transformation is sustained. There may still be unanswered questions, but they no longer disturb your peace. You trust that answers will come when they are needed. That trust is evidence of a deep relationship with God, not shallow belief. Archangel Michael's presence is a reminder that you are not navigating this alone. Even when it feels quiet, heaven is active. Even when you feel still, movement is happening beneath the surface. This is not a season of striving. It is a season of alignment. Let things come to you naturally. Let God orchestrate what you cannot control. Your role is to remain open, obedient, and grounded. Because what comes next is not about preparation anymore. It is about fulfillment. And when it arrives, it will feel familiar, not shocking. Peaceful, not chaotic. Right, not forced. You are almost there. Stay present. Stay faithful. The final unfolding will seal everything you have walked through, and you will recognize God's hand in every step. My beloved child, this is the moment where heaven brings everything into completion. God says you have reached the point where preparation meets fulfillment. What was spoken in whispers is now standing in truth. What was promised in prayer is now stepping into manifestation. This is not an ending of faith, it is the beginning of living from faith. Archangel Michael stands beside you with a posture of honor, not urgency, not warfare. Because what you walked through required courage, endurance, and obedience. Heaven does not rush those who have proven faithful. Heaven establishes them. And God says you are now established. Look back for a moment, not with pain, but with perspective. Every closed door redirected you. Every delay matured you. Every disappointment refined you. None of it disqualified you. that qualified you. You were being shaped to carry what is now arriving without fear, pride, or confusion. This miracle is not fragile. It will not disappear overnight. It is anchored, rooted, sustained by God Himself. That is why peace surrounds it. That is why there is no chaos attached to it. God does not rush what He intends to last. Archangel Michael's assignment now is guardianship over what has been released. He is ensuring continuity, protection, stability. You are not stepping into this new chapter unguarded. You are covered spiritually, emotionally, and divinely. God says your responsibility now is stewardship. Steward the peace. Steward the clarity. Steward the blessing with humility and gratitude. Do not shrink yourself, but do not exalt yourself either. Walk steady. Walk grounded. Walk thankful. There will be people who do not understand the shift in you. Let them wonder. You do not owe explanations for obedience. You do not need to convince anyone that God was involved. The fruit will speak louder than testimony ever could. You are also entering a season where your presence will comfort others. Not because you have all the answers, but because you carry peace. Peace is contagious. And God will use that peace flowing through you to reach hearts you could never reach with words. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that victory does not end responsibility. It deepens it. You will be trusted with more discernment, more influence, and more purpose. Not all at once, but step by step, just as you can handle it. God wants you to know that you are no longer waiting for permission. Heaven has already said yes. Walk accordingly. Speak accordingly. Choose accordingly. You are not who you were, and you are not returning there. When challenges arise, and they will, do not panic. Challenges do not mean regression. They mean growth. You now have tools you did not have before. Wisdom you did not have before. Peace you did not have before. This is the chapter where gratitude becomes your language. Not forced gratitude, but deep appreciation for how God carried you through what you did not think you would survive. Gratitude will keep you grounded as blessings increase. Archangel Michael's presence will not fade. It will simply feel less urgent because fear no longer dominates your decisions. That is the sign of maturity. That is the mark of someone who trusts God fully. And now, before this word closes, receive this final activation with authority. Type "I walk in fulfillment" in the comments if you receive this word with faith. Blessing code 2121 is now activated over your life. Now hear this final instruction and let it settle deeply in your spirit. This message did not come to you alone. It came through obedience, prayer, and sacrifice so others could hear what you just received. I hear the Lord saying, "Those who partner with this mission partner with my harvest." When you give here, you are not funding content. You are fueling light, releasing truth, and helping lost souls hear God's voice. This is a prophetic response moment. Do not delay obedience. Release your seed now through Super Thanks, by joining the membership, or through the PayPal donation link in the description. As you give, I declare open heavens, multiplied provision, and divine acceleration over your life. Act now, seal this word with action, and watch how God honors it.